In the studio today, I have Yvonne Copley, who is directing Line, which is Broadway's longest-running play, I believe, and one of the stars of the play is Leon Clingman. And Leon directed the play in New York, but is also starring in the play. So hello and welcome to the studio, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
I've just introduced the program today because I'm doing two play things. The one is Absurdist Play, which is yours, and the other one is Ray Cooney Farce. So tell us a bit about your play and what makes it so absurd, and what's the plot all about?
You know, it's a really, rather than theatre of the absurd, it's a wacky comedy.
It's great.
And it stood the test of time, 38 years being playing on Broadway. And what it really is doing is exploring what makes people want to achieve. And it's the antics that these particular five characters go through to make sure that they are in the line and they're at the front of the queue.
So they're in this line in the front of and they want to be in the front of the queue. So what actually happens? Is there a purpose for getting to the front of the queue, or not really?
I want to be first.
Yeah, you never really, as an audience or whatever, you never know what each character's reason for being in that line is. But it's the dynamic on the interplay between them all trying
to get to the front
first for whatever reason that makes it very interesting to watch.
Now, Leon, you've directed this one in New York, and you're now starring in this one. How different and how similar is the experience of being on that side of the stage now and having Yvonne telling you what to do?
Yvonne came with some very fresh and new ideas, which were really nice.
And were the actors that you were working with, were they relatively young, or were they had they been in the game for a long, long time, wanting to hold on to what they knew and had?
There was a mixture of young and old. There were some actors who had been doing it for 6 or 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever, and then there were people who had just come in. It's one of those productions that the cast rotates a lot because people come in, they do it for a while, then they move on, which was also difficult because as each new cast member comes in, it starts to water down a little or get a little bit out of shape. And that's what I was trying to do, was try to get it back into shape.
So how did you sort of manage this one now?
I looked at it from a lot of the work I'm doing is in the development arena, strategic business development. And I looked at the script as aligned to what makes people want to achieve in life, and came at it from a different angle completely. I also played against the text, so characters that are maybe described in a certain way have deliberately not been cast in that way. And so you get a really fresh, very different look. And it's wacky, it's very funny, but it's also a script that makes you think, and I think that's why it's been translated into 35 languages. It's studied throughout the world, because it has a depth to it that even while we've been working it, you can find something new and exciting all the time. And I've now had to say to the cast, stop.
Yes.
This is it for now. For now,
yeah.
Yes.
But what audiences will find is something that's very different. It's a real entertainment, but it's entertainment that makes you go away and go, whoa, where do I fit into this?
So do you think this is what sort of helped with the longevity of the play? The people find resonance with it, different people resonate differently to different situations within the play.
Yeah, and I think also as well that when you see the play, you can kind of see it in everyday life. You go to the supermarket and you're standing in line at the till, and you can see these dynamics. Some people are in a rush and they're trying to squeeze in, and you go to a sports match or you go to the theatre, whatever. There's always this,
especially in the bank sometimes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
As an actor, go to an audition. I went to an audition the other day, and some actor pushed in front, and suddenly there was almost a punch-up in the studio because of that.
Let's explore that situation for a second, Leon. Now, you having directed the play and being in the play, so how did you react to that very situation where somebody jumped in front of you?
I just stood and watched it. I was like, it was this, because we'd already sort of started rehearsals, so I was in that mode of seeing these things, and it was couldn't wait to get back to rehearsals to tell the cast what I'd just seen, because it's just so representative of what the play is about. That we all just fight, even though you may not need to be anywhere in a certain time, you just have this thing that you want to be first.
And it is interesting. The other day I was coming and I came past one of the My City queues, and people were doing all sorts of things to make sure that they got to the front of the queue. And I just stopped and found that I'd burst out laughing, because I thought, this is so typical of human behaviour. And that's what makes this play really relevant.
Now, being involved with this play at the moment, are you noticing more how people are behaving in lines now?
Absolutely.
Do you find that this
Definitely.
happens?
Yeah.
I travel a lot, and it really is interesting to see at airports what people will do just to get through the security check. And you think, but you've got another half an hour, maybe an hour to wait once you're through the security check. Why do you want to rush?
Yeah.
Why do you want to knock everybody else out of the way? People
We've
are like
actually, on our Facebook page, we've asked people to write in their stories of their experiences of standing in lines and the things that they encounter.
And have you come up with some
Yeah, there have been some
doozies?
interesting ones. Yeah, I can't think offhand of them, but there have been some nice ones.
Yvonne, in this play, who have you got in the cast besides Leon now?
Bjorn Steinbeck, Marlisa Dubal, Gavin Werner, and Aidan Wittock.
And are these people that we would recognize?
Oh, yes. They are all very established in different ways, either in the theatre, movies, TV. So, people will identify. But it's a young cast, and it's a cast that have allowed me, and I want to say thank you to them for that, to push them, sometimes against what they would see, and allow me to take them in a different direction. And Leon is the biggest of that, because
really?
he and I had lots of debates, and he really has played along, and now I think sees the benefit.
Yeah, no, it's been, as I said, it's been really great. I mean, when the debates happened before we actually started rehearsing, but once we had our first rehearsal, Yvonne came with a very clear idea and structure of what we needed to work to, and it made a lot of sense to me at the first rehearsal, so I haven't fought with her since.
Do you find that in this day and age, with so much reality TV and people being exposed to so much different situations and movies like the Jackass movies, and that helped you with your cast being open for more because they realize that wacky is the way to go these days most of the time?
I think so. I think that they've enjoyed the experience of being pushed and made to think outside the box, and then getting the satisfaction when someone else laughs at that or identifies, or maybe after the rehearsal will say, something like that happened to me. And so that's given them a sense of real achievement and satisfaction. And I think that from an audience perspective, the entire audience is going to sit there and go, I just didn't know. Maybe I do that unconsciously all the time. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a really good evening's entertainment.
So now, when does the run start? It hasn't started yet, has it?
No, it opens on Wednesday the 18th, and performances run nightly at 8:15 at the Little Theatre, and then on Saturdays there's matinees on the 2 Saturdays at 3:15.
And ticket prices run between 60 Rand and 80 Rand, and you can book at CompuTicket. Leon, I just want to check with you. You do movies as well, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Right, so sell yourself. Tell us some of the movies that you've been in that people can recognize you in.
I've been in Straight Outta Benoni, which was sort of local comedy that came out a few years ago. It's also in Death Race 2, which is on DVD at the moment. And I've just finished shooting a movie called The Girl, which is about Tippi Hedren's, who was the lead actress in The Birds, and her relationship with Alfred Hitchcock. So we just finished shooting that. Sienna Miller was the lead in playing Tippi Hedren, and Toby Jones, a well-known British actor who played Alfred Hitchcock, and I played Ray Berwick, who was the bird handler on The Birds. And I got to play with crows and ravens and had a lot of fun.
Great stuff, great stuff. And the other film that I know that's very popular that you are in is the animated one, The Lion of Judah.
Yes, The Lion of Judah, which I'm not sure when it's coming to South Africa. It has been released overseas and is out on Blu-ray overseas as well. But for some reason, the release date in South Africa keeps getting pushed. That was also a lot of fun. I got to play a raven, a mafia raven, on the streets of Jerusalem with Michael Madsen, who played my boss. So that was a lot of fun.
Right. We're mentioning ticket prices now. Tuesday nights are normally a night on that people watch television for some reason. But if you come to the theatre, you can get buy one and get one free. So it's 2 for the price of 1 on Tuesday nights. And Yvonne, it is also at 8:15. So that's...
Yes, it is.
There you go. 2 for the price of 1 for this wonderful production called The Line, in which we are sure you will recognize yourself and you'll see Leon on stage, and with Yvonne's directing for this play called The Lion. And it was written by Isreal Horovitz, who has won many, many awards as well. So he's also a very, very well-known playwright. So in the company of theatre royalty, really, when you're on that stage there.
He's also very popular in France, and Lion actually, I think, ran for 18 years in France as well, non-stop.
So you never know. This might be the first performance of our 18
Yes, I would not put it past it. I wouldn't put it past it. So, yeah, Little Theatre. It's in Orange Street on the Heating campus from the 18th to the 28th, and you can book at CompuTicket. Yvonne and Leon, it was great chatting to you. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.